I'm Scott Tinker, and I study energy. I was in remote Colombia to visit a family living without modern energy of any kind. This is the farm of an Arhuaco tribal elder.
I'm Scott.
He lives here with his wife,
Gracias.
their daughters and their husbands, and lots of grandkids.
All right.
Using farming methods passed down over centuries, the Arhuacos can grow everything they need.
Y ese es banano.
Banana.
Ajá.
And así?
Ajá.
Mhm.
Café.
Café. Sí.
Y la lana que se hace la mochila.
Oh, mochila.
Sí, para hacer
Oh, yeah.
lo que tiene él.
So beans, bananas, fruta,
Frijoles.
and coffee. So this feeds everybody. What is this? For grinding. All right, here we go.
Everything here is produced with manual labor.
Okay.
This press is their only machine.
Put your back. All right. Oh. All right. What did we make? Sugar cane? Is good?
Pruébelo.
I'll try it. That's good. I wouldn't drink it every night, but it's pretty good. Gracias.
Cacao.
I think he's done this before. Look at that.
Oh, este sí.
Oh, wow.
Eh,
That's beautiful.
vamos a dejar la cáscara.
Nice.
Comemos este.
Okay.
¿Viste?
And eat it?
Eso. Está sabroso.
That's good.
Ah,
Very good.
This seems like a pretty good life, but it's a hard life. Only half of the Arhuaco children will make it to adulthood.
bueno, aquí es la cocina.
Ah, la cocina.
Hace falta fuego.
Inside this hut, it was around 120 degrees and filled with smoke from their only energy source, fire.
No,
Very little windows. What is this hanging above the fire?
banano,
Bananas. Smoked bananas.
maíz. A secar maíz.
Oh, they dry corn. That makes sense.
Escoba.
Yes. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
The Arhuacos still get all of their energy from burning wood, and you might think they're a fairly isolated case. But in fact, there are 1 billion people in rural Latin America, Africa, and Asia who live like the Arhuacos do, with no electricity or modern energy of any kind. There are another 1 billion people, most of them urban, with limited energy that's often unaffordable or dangerous. Nearly all of these people, and a few 100 million more, still burn wood, straw, dung, and other biomass for cooking or heating, and suffer from breathing its smoke. These 2+ billion people worldwide live in what the UN calls energy poverty. That's nearly a third of the planet without access to safe, affordable, reliable energy. In our last film, Switch, we looked at the continuing energy transition in the developed world. We'll now focus on a more profound transition. For the people moving out of energy poverty, and beginning to receive the many benefits that energy brings. We'll go to Ethiopia and Kenya and Vietnam to see how large, new, grid-connected electricity projects will power mostly urban citizens. We'll go to Colombia and to Kenya again to meet rural people getting their first electricity from off-grid solar solutions. And we'll go to Nepal to meet people transitioning from burning wood to healthier, modern cooking fuels. Their stories are a microcosm of what's happening across the developing world as people and communities switch on. On the other side of the mountain from the Arhuaco farm is the village of Sabano Crespo. It's a trading center where families come down from the hills once a week to exchange goods and see friends. A couple of years ago, this rural community got its first electricity ever. Because here, the nonprofit Solar Electric Light Fund, or SELF, installed the Solar Microgrid. I met their CEO, Bob Frayling. How did you get involved in this village?
Well, it all happened when a leader of the Arhuaco people came to Washington, D.C. and requested our support to come in and bring solar power to his and several other villages here in the Sierra Nevada mountains of northern Colombia.
That is a remarkably rapid transformation for indigenous people to make, though, right?
It's true, and we're very mindful of the fact that not everybody in the world wants this. We would never go and impose our solutions on a community that has not invited us. For example, they have asked us not to bring power to their homes, and we haven't.
So this array, this microgrid, is powering more of the community center type things?
Correct. This is all for community-based needs.
This system helps power the coffee operations. It's the only crop they trade with outsiders. It also powers lights in the community store, on the streets at night, and in the health center. SELF's engineer, Steve McCarney, showed me a smaller array that powers a refrigerator and freezer for vaccines.
This is a great project that was funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to basically prove that solar ice making could be done and used for immunization. And the actual first solar direct drive battery-free ice makers are right behind us. Okay, fellas, here is the vaccine room. And in here is the freezer. These are the serial number on this is probably 001 or 002. This is frozen solid, solar energy. Those are used for outreach. They pack them with these ice packs, take the vaccines out, walk out sometimes up to 3-day trips from here so they can immunize outreach locations far up in the mountains. So it does extend beyond the village.
Right.
The catchment area for this village is approximately 17,000 people.
17,000?
17,000 people.
So your 12.5 kilowatt micro array and some smaller ones around is actually servicing a community of 17,000.
You've seen what a little bit of energy can do.
Yeah.
Right? We think about a few watts or a few thousand watts in the United States. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Right? But a few thousand watts of energy make all the difference in the world.
Yeah. Bob and Steve have spent their careers bringing off-grid electricity to rural communities like this one. To understand what it really takes to power the people, I wanted to help them do more of it. Halfway around the world, there's a different challenge. Nepal sits between the northern border of India and the Himalayas and is one of the poorest countries in the world. Outside of its capital, most people are farmers, living a very traditional lifestyle. I went there with environmental health scientist Dr. Amod Pokpal, who's been studying their cooking methods. In the countryside, everything is done by hand or foot. Along a main road, this small furniture factory sells scrap wood. Sanukanchi, a mother of 5 from a nearby village, is here to buy some.
So why don't they get this wood from the forest?
So the government opens community forest for people to collect wood only one time in a year.
Oh,
And yeah, because there was
That
a
won't
big
work.
problem of deforestation. And then after that, they
Yeah.
have to purchase it from the market, which
Yes.
is expensive. We'll see.
yeah. So this is the market.
Yeah, this is the market.
Curious to see how much this weighs. 21.3 kilos. So almost 45, 50 pounds. How long will that last for cooking?
So it goes for 2 weeks.
About 2 weeks. So we need 25 of those every year. And we just spent 200, so 5,000. So that's a lot of money. How much money do you have each year to spend? What money do you make?
तपाईँको वर्षमा अब धेरै खर्च हुन्छ दाउरालाई हैन तपाईँको वर्षमा आम्दानी कति जति हुन्छ होला she doesn't know the
Doesn't know.
exact but according to her she spends a lot of money on
it.
purchasing
Probably maybe half of her,
half of her
or
income
more, just on fuel
just on fuel
for the fire.
for the
inside.
fire
Yeah.
to cook.
That's a tremendous amount. Oh, that's a big walk.
हजुर
Sanukanchi is one of the more than 2 billion people around the world who still cooks with wood, dung, straw, or other biomass.
So we got corn, dried corn. Yeah. Oh, here. Maize. So people have been cooking over wood and solid fuels for hundreds of years.
Thousands of years, and it's good because this allows people to boil water,
Right.
and then give warm food,
Yeah.
which is also helpful
Sure.
in terms of health. But the smoke is the main issue here, and so you can see there's no ventilation in the window opening
Right.
for the smoke to go out.
Amod and his team monitor air quality in more than 3,000 households in this area. The outside air pollution levels are about 50 parts per million of particulates.
So 2 or 3 times a day we're going to 900.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when they're fire.
15 to 20 times the standard. Every day. Yeah. It's just, well, you can hear the kids, you can hear their lungs, you can hear when they cough. And you've been cooking in your home all your life like
तपाईँले
this?
खाना जिन्दगीभरि सुरुदेखि यसमै बनाइरहनु भएको छ? Yeah, she has always used biomass stove. She has not used any other modern fuel, let's say.
I mean, you can see the smoke, completely darkened rafters and the loft above us.
Yeah.
That's really remarkable with kids and things, the exposure
Yes.
through their lives.
Yeah.
Amod and I went to the nearby Sidi Memorial Hospital to see how breathing smoke was affecting the local population.
She's beautiful.
La, किन रोको नि यो? ल नमस्ते है, म डाक्टर ध्रुव है, यहाँको बालरोग विशेषज्ञ। है ल Okay, I'll just explain, I think. The child is having fever and difficulty breathing and complaining of cough. And she had visited me once on Thursday, and now till now she hasn't improved. And now she's complaining of fast breathing. Okay.
How many do you see like this every day who have the respiratory? How many little kids?
Usually, it's more than 60% of the cases who come here, it's upper respiratory infection.
Electricity's not working.
This is a very common problem in Nepal. And our study here, which was conducted here in the same hospital, we also found a very strong association between pneumonia and use of biomass fuel.
Sure. Thank you. I hope she gets better.
Sadly, children die frequently here of pneumonia. World Health Organization studies show that diseases from indoor smoke inhalation kill over 3 million people a year globally, more than AIDS and malaria combined. Clearly, one of the most important challenges facing the world today is how the 1/3 of its people who still burn wood can move to something else. Back in Colombia, we went with Self to Gunchukwa, another Awako village that had requested electricity. But first, we had to go through a cleansing ritual. Osi McCarney, Self's operation manager, showed us how it's done. My son Derek helped organize this trip. We had to bathe in the Awako's sacred waters before we could meet the village and address their spiritual leaders, called Mamos.
Thank you for welcoming us to your village. And we appreciate very much the nice ceremony we went through this morning. It's very meaningful to us, and we want to extend our respect back to you.
Ahora pueden, por ejemplo, podemos ir al centro, podemos mirar eso, sí.
They want to have a communication with us about what are the reasons that we are here and what they will like for us to bring.
We are in a partnership with Self and Switch. So our interest is to understand your needs. And if you have a need for electricity in a way that we could help you, we would like to learn that. But only to the extent that you want it. And we would work with you
Y trabajaremos juntos con
to bring
ustedes.
electricity to your village and work with you to teach you how to maintain.
Now we had a mission. The Arhuacos of Gunchukwa asked for lights and fans in their community buildings, a street light in the square, and a refrigerator for their store. To power all that, like Sabana Crespo, they would need an off-grid solar system, and we would build it. But before we could do that, I was off to Africa to look at on-grid solutions. This is what you might expect Ethiopia to look like. But this is where it's headed. Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa, is rapidly modernizing and rapidly growing and desperately needs more electricity. To get it, they're building a huge new hydropower project called the GERD, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. There are challenges to building any dam, I talked to Rudo Sanyanga from a watchdog group about perhaps the most important.
In Africa, most of the electricity goes to industry and to urban centers. We don't have a very huge network, grid network,
Right.
to meet and supply
For the distribution.
everyone.
But a major dam like that produces a tremendous amount of steady electricity. But you're saying it disproportionately benefits those who are in cities that can benefit it compared to those who are displaced.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would build dams where there's no or minimal displacement of people.
Yeah.
Generally, they lose a source of livelihood. They lose their social cohesion and become disoriented. Energy distribution is, I think, follows a model which was left by the colonialists, where they supplied services and resources to the few urban people, leaving out the majority who in Africa tend to live in the rural areas.
Interesting.
I met with Dr. Seleshi Bekele, Ethiopia's Minister of Water and Electricity, about how they'll power this city without leaving their rural citizens behind.
Without electricity, transformation of economy and the coming out of poverty is impossible.
Yeah.
So energy is everything, basically. Therefore, to improve the livelihood of people, you need reliable and sufficient energy.
Yes. Again, how do you get the electricity in the country into the hands of the poor? There's villages that have nothing, no electricity at all. Are you building power lines now, or are there big networks being built?
There is a grid expansion.
Okay.
That grid expansion brings energy from the grid, from GERD and other previous dams.
To learn more, I was off to visit the GERD.
It's nice to meet you. What's your name?
Nice to meet you, Lazarus.
Lazarus. I'm Scott.
From the air, Addis Ababa looks like any big U.S. city. In fact, it has a bigger population than all of them, except New York. But this is not unique to Ethiopia. In countries across Africa, cities are growing. Across Latin America, and especially across developing Asia, it's happening too. 150 million people move to cities each year. Almost half of the people in the developing world already live in urban centers. By 2050, it will be closer to 70%. The future of the developing world is urban. Meeting the huge energy demands of these densely populated urban centers will be a great challenge, while balancing the needs of rural citizens. I'd see how they're doing this at Ethiopia's Renaissance Dam. It sits on the Blue Nile in the desert on the border with Sudan. I met with the general manager of the entire project, Kifle Horo.
This is called the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance.
Yeah.
Why Renaissance? What does that mean?
Ethiopia was great some centuries ago. That's why we call it a renaissance, coming back to our greatness.
Okay.
The finance of this project comes from the government of Ethiopia and from the public. Each public has a stake in it. They're buying bonds.
They're putting their own money in.
Yes. Every year they give 1 month.
1 month.
1 month of their salary on a bond basis, which will be repaid after 5 years.
Think about that commitment. Many Ethiopians are putting 1 month of salary each year toward bonds for the dam.
The total intended capacity is around 6.3 gigawatts.
Yes.
Gigawatts.
So that's 6 or 7 nuclear reactors.
Exactly.
This is
It's a big
massive
plant. From the dam, water comes and the spiral case guides the water into the turbine.
The turbine. That's unbelievable.
So huge.
Scale of that is just...
You can imagine the size.
We can go in. Yeah. Wow. The scale of this is just crazy.
It's hard to appreciate the size of this project. When complete, it will provide electricity for tens of millions of Ethiopians.
What is this dam? How will that contribute to lifting up Ethiopia economically?
The country is leading toward industrialization.
So you'll be able to provide electricity to the citizens of Ethiopia.
And also we are connected to the neighboring countries. We are building a big transmission line with a capacity of over 1,000 megawatt to Kenya, which will be a venue to be connected to the Southern African grid.
Right.
It's not only for Ethiopia, I think it's even for Africa, the biggest. And it will be a pride for Africans as well, not to Ethiopians alone.
Yeah, for all of Africa.
Yeah, all of Africa.
It seems the dam is well on the way to achieving its power goals. But what about the people it has displaced? In the valley that will be flooded to create the dam's reservoir, I met with journalist Abraham Faseha.
We're sitting here on the upstream side of the GERD. In a few years, we would be under about 140 meters of water. And there used to be people that lived here in this area, and they're going to be displaced as this fills. How did they live?
It was a very primitive way of living. Sometimes they are dependent on fishing.
Yes.
But no farm, no other activities. So now they have given them an opportunity, even though it's not enough, much better than they used to be. They have never been to school. They had no access to clean water. So now with relocating them, schools are open, clinic is open. So at least, at the minimum, they have an access.
Sure. Are many of these part of your family?
Aye.
So your life is very different now.
አሁን ህይወቱ ድሮ እዛ ግድቡ የነበረበት ቦታ ሲኖሩና
So the electricity, which will come to this pole, comes from the new dam.
ስለ አዲሱ ግድብ ታውቂያለሽ ወይ? ይሄ መብራት አሁን አንቺ ቤት ሲገባ ከዛ ነው የሚመጣው።
Your little boy will be able to go to school now. So he could eventually learn to write and read.
በቃ ከዛ በኋላ ልጅሽ ሄዶ ትምህርት ቤት መጻፍ ማንበብ ሲችል ምን ይሰማሻል?
Not all rural people in Ethiopia will get power from the dam or react so positively to it. But here, as in many developing regions, big grid electricity projects will drive commerce and power cities and help expand the grid to power villages.
Keep reading. All right.
For most developing countries, hydropower is one of two choices for large grid electricity projects. I went to Vietnam to look at the other one. Hong Nguyen, an energy planner, told me how Vietnam will power its urban centers and growing economy.
There's a lot of construction going on over here. In fact, there's a big jackhammer down here knocking things down.
We are standing in front of a building, and this is really kind of typical image of Vietnam now.
Yes.
With a lot of new construction. In the past until now, hydropower is the main source. But from now until 2030, coal will be the main source, accounting for 40% in terms of capacity and more than 50% in terms of electricity generation. We see that coal is a source of environmental pollution, including air pollution, water pollution, and also soil pollution.
Yeah.
We had chance to visit coal power areas.
Yes.
And I witnessed impacts of coal dust, in this area.
So it's been hydro, but it's going toward more coal. Why is that? Why not keep hydro?
It's just because hydropower potential in Vietnam just used up.
So we've built all the dams that could be built for the most part, or at least the big ones. So you have to have something else to feed that up.
The energy
economy.
demand.
To power its continued growth, Vietnam plans to double its entire generation capacity in 10 years. I went to see if they could do that with coal, and I'd start by going into a coal mine. Riding this tiny train deeper and deeper into the earth is enough to make anyone claustrophobic.
How far do we go?
We will travel around 2 kilometers.
I was surprised by just how many miners were there, going into and out of the mine, 24 hours a day on different shifts.
Wow.
Black gold. Black gold.
Wow. That's about as good as it gets. Reliable.
The coal here is high quality.
Yes, it is.
Very hot.
Yes, it is. There it is. It's wet. It's a slurry. Yeah.
In Vietnam, working in a coal mine is a steady, high-paying job.
How long has this mine been operating?
68 năm rồi, tới kỷ niệm.
Did your father work in this business?
Yes.
Yes, he did. And you?
Ông nội này.
My father, my grandfather also.
Really? So he's third generation.
An toàn.
The safety is from my grandfather, my father, and now
here you are.
Me.
Coal leaves Vietnam's mines on trains and passes through a network of coal towns. Each town is made up mostly of coal workers, their families, and the businesses that support them. Most of the coal is headed toward the coast, where it will eventually be loaded and shipped on barges. I went there with journalist Andy Wynn.
This is a port where the ships come to transport
so you
coal.
can see the coal.
Yeah.
So we're seeing at least 8 or 10 ships right here.
Yes. The coal comes here from different coal mines.
Right.
And this ports for transporting coals to different provinces in Vietnam.
So they take it down the coast, back to rivers, onto trains, and then to coal plants to make electricity.
It appears Vietnam has the mining capacity, the trained labor force, and the transportation system to support their coal growth plans. And in the next 20 years, Vietnam plans to build 50 new coal plants like this one.
So where are we now?
Master control room, the power plant.
Okay. And so these guys, they're basically measuring what? Generators?
Ash.
Bottom ash silo.
Oh, it's the ash.
Fly ash.
He's looking at the ash. And this guy is doing something different?
Feed water system.
Oh, the water system.
Water system.
The cooling system. Okay, so everybody has a different job. Coal has many advantages, but one of the challenges is just the air quality, the particulates and the ash. So how do we fix that?
Với cái than nhiệt trị thấp này thì có hai thách thức. Cái thứ nhất là cái phát thải SO2.
So we are using limestone powder to burn with coal to reduce
to get the sulfur
emission. So,
yep.
And the ash, the second challenge is the ash. This is a conveyor system to transport ash from the power plant to this area.
Right.
To store the ash.
Is this all ash behind us?
Tất cả đều là tro xỉ ở đây đúng không?
Có thể chứa khoảng 5 triệu mét khối cho xỉ.
Around 5 million cubic meter of ash.
A lot of the ash ends up in this yard, but a lot still goes out the stack. I went to talk to some of the people who live just downwind from the coal plant to see if this is a problem.
Does everybody here, everybody you know have electricity?
Có hết.
Điện từ
nói chung là Việt Nam bây giờ đây cả là vùng núi sâu cũng có rồi.
Điện thì chúng tôi ở đây khi mà sinh ra đã thấy có điện rồi, không biết từ bao giờ.
Yeah, yes, of course. When I was born, I had electricity. My family had electricity.
So you work in a business, the coal business, which is your life, and that business puts pollution. Do you see that as a conflict?
No, she works for a railway company.
No, but these guys were in coal, and the whole community is based on coal, but it makes the environment. So how do you change that?
Vấn đề than là người ta dẹp được bụi rồi.
Than là bây giờ
dẹp được môi trường có đường băng đẩy ống nó chạy là người ta dẹp được.
There's some ideas here. What's going on?
Cái bụi xỉ đấy.
Yeah.
Does not come from the coal mine.
Yeah.
It comes from the thermal power plant.
From the plant.
Yeah, you see the white dust in the air.
All right. In the U.S., on the coal plants, we have scrubbers that scrub this out before it goes up.
Về nhiệt điện thì đâu nó cũng có cái bộ phận ấy hết, nhưng mà cái nó sử dụng.
It makes it more expensive. It makes it more expensive.
Cái đấy đầu tư rất là đắt, nếu mà những cái thiết bị lọc mà tốt thì nó rất là đắt.
What are some of the other challenges in the community?
Ngoài cái không khí và bụi bẩn ra thì mọi cái là hoàn hảo. Perfect.
So you don't want coal to go away.
Vâng, chính xác. Bởi vì than là cuộc sống của rất nhiều người ở đây nên chưa từ bỏ được ngay ạ.
Coal powers Vietnam's communities and businesses. In exchange for these benefits, they seem willing to accept its air pollution. Vietnam will use coal to build an economy that's strong enough to eventually afford something else, like many countries have and many will across the developing world. Making the electricity is just half the challenge. The other is getting it to the people who need it. Nairobi, the capital of Kenya, is another one of Africa's fast-rising cities. Here, over 1 million people live in slums, and many are struggling to get safe, reliable electricity. I went to visit Kibra, the largest slum, with Kenya Power's Director of Infrastructure, David Mwaniki.
Mafuta ta makaa. What does this say? Swahili.
Mafuta taa is kerosene.
Kerosene.
They usually use it. Some of them could use it for lighting, or for the stoves.
A lamp oil.
And also the stoves, also for cooking stoves. And the makaa is actually the charcoal. That's the Swahili word for.
So charcoal here. We have kerosene there.
Yes.
So this is sort of what it was.
Yes.
Still is.
Yes. Yes.
Kind of where it's going some, and that's the future.
That's the future.
So this is a school.
Yeah, it's a nice place to be.
Did you grow up with electricity when you were young? Did you have electricity?
No, I didn't. Until I went to high school, actually. That is when I was able to interact with electricity. Like I said, it's just by accident that I became an electrical engineer.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's a transformation, rather. Yes, yes.
But that's the opportunity that these kids will have.
Yes, and engineers will come from here, and doctors, isn't it?
Yes.
Because of that facility.
Yes.
This is an area where we've been able to improve their quality of life. You know, there are people who are at the lower end of the economic scale.
Right.
And so there are people who, once they get clean energy, there are a lot of other benefits, like health benefits.
Sure.
So the public lighting improves the security, ensures that there's more hours of business, and increases the incomes at household level.
It's phenomenal.
It was a very big improvement.
Sure.
Because, previously, not many of them could afford the illegal connections.
It was illegal connections run by
Yeah,
Ooh.
some groups.
Like cartels or something?
Yes, they're like cartels. Yes. So when we came in, there was a bit of resistance.
Sure.
But what we had to do was to work with the local community, with the local leaders. Now with the local leaders, now we were able to penetrate. They were able to have acceptance. You know, they were able to offer us security and allow us to proceed.
I met with Jael Mwadalo to find out how Kenya Power worked with the cartels to install electricity.
So the cartels were here.
Yeah.
And what the next step was?
To engage them.
Engage the cartels.
Yeah. We elected them as the village elders.
Okay.
The elder had to get 2 teams. There was one team for erecting poles and another team to dig the holes.
William Opio is one of the local leaders that Kenya Power identified to help install power lines.
We're walking under a brand new power line here, it looks like.
Yeah, we erected poles, we installed meters. After that, when the cartels found that we have erected poles, we want to remove them from the power.
Yeah.
They started chopping the droppers so that they can fix their power.
Okay. So Kenya Power put in the poles and brought legal electricity. And then the cartels said, no, we'll tap into it with drops.
Yeah.
Illegally. Can we see one of those here or not? Can you point to the illegal wire? Can I tell which one it is?
I can see.
Which one?
Even that one is illegal connection.
Which one are we looking at? Look, right here.
Yes.
Okay.
That one is illegal connection.
Okay.
Even that one.
And this one?
Yes.
Wow. So William, these are homes.
Yeah.
I see
homes.
4 doors on this side and 4 down this side.
There are 8, but they are using illegal connection.
Oh. Hello. Yeah. I'm Scott. What's your name?
Dominic.
Dominic.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting us come into your home today.
Yeah.
And visit.
My business.
I can see you use a lot of electricity. What's this? What's this up here?
Token, but it is not completed.
What is it?
Yeah, they removed all sockets so that he can use for illegal connection.
Oh, this was Kenya Power?
Kenya Powers.
And it's empty?
Yeah.
And this is the illegal?
Yeah, illegal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it better for you for having Kenya Power or this cartel power?
Kenya Power.
Kenya?
Oh, this one is safe.
It's safe?
Yeah.
Have you ever had an electrical accident? Like you got shocked?
Obvious.
Yes?
That is obvious.
Okay. So it's not very safe.
It's dangerous.
You're laughing because it's scary.
Even now he's using up. You see?
Oh, I see. Yes, that looks
the
pretty
roof.
scary. I mean, tell me what happens with illegal power like that? What are the concerns?
You know, the cartels used to take live wire only.
Live wires. That's got to have killed people.
Yeah. So many people are dying because of that. Even dogs, cats, children.
Children.
Yeah.
So when it rains, everything is metal?
Even this house. If you touch this house.
Yeah. Boom.
Yes.
Wow. So it's a real safety and security issue. Yeah. And the reason that's still there, like, why doesn't somebody go take it down?
Somebody.
Who would do it?
We are the one we are supposed to do it.
You?
Yes.
Yeah.
To remove all illegal connection.
Okay.
So we were waiting for Kenya Power to give us that work to do so that we can remove those illegal connection and do everything and put on tokens.
Around the world, there are about 1 billion people living in slums. And there are grid expansion projects like this in cities across developing Africa, Asia, and Latin America. All will bring lighting and literacy, communication and safety, healthcare and refrigeration, small business and industry. And all will struggle with corruption. It's perhaps the biggest stumbling block to energy development. Hydroelectric dams, particularly in African countries where there are still good resources, will increase in size and in number. They'll face challenges of financing, environment, and displacement of local people. Coal electricity will grow dramatically in Asian countries. While it's declined in Europe and North America over the last 40 years, in Asia, coal use for power generation has increased more than 1,000%. Regional particulate air pollution and CO2 emissions have grown along with it. It's clear that developing countries will continue to grow, urbanize, and need more energy. Reducing environmental impact and corruption will remain two great challenges. For the 1 billion people living off the grid, they'll need off-grid solutions, like the solar system we were building in Colombia.
Así, dele para atrás así.
Here, people and equipment converge on the tiny village of Pueblo Bello, where the pavement ends and the road heads into the jungle. It had taken a year of work and a great deal of resources to organize this trip.
I'm with Sterling here as well. We got 3 and 3.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, eso.
We asked our friends at REC Solar to donate solar panels.
Okay, watch your toes.
1.
The panels were manufactured in Singapore, shipped to Los Angeles, and trucked to Miami.
Let's back it up a little so I can get my leg out.
The sun doesn't shine at night, which is when the Arhuacos need power. That means a battery, which the panels will charge. The batteries were made in China, shipped to LA, trucked to Ohio for testing, then joined our panels in Miami for the trip to Barranquilla, Colombia. From there, they passed through 3 different trucks and finally into ours, to at last get here. Most important, we brought a dozen volunteers from the US and Colombia, smart, able, educated people, who Steve could teach how to install a solar microgrid.
Well, I guess we got over the first challenge. There'll be a few more.
As we drove the last 4 hours back into the jungle, I couldn't help but wonder how much transportation fuel was involved in getting this solar system and all of us who would install it out to Conchuqua.
Toward me. You ready? Yep. Okay, watch your steps on those stones.
Basically, the first message is welcome, welcome back. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for bringing this gift.
All right.
Yes, the trend continued. Perfect.
I've been traveling in the last year and spoken in probably 10 or 15 countries, and I always show pictures of Conchuqua. So Conchuqua
He's traveling.
is going to be known very well, and I hope that's okay.
He said that he feels that they are traveling.
Yes, yes, you are. And finally, I will thank our team. We have volunteers from Colombia, from around the United States, students, young professionals that have all volunteered to come here this week and to meet you and to work with you and bring our cultures together.
I was struck that it would take a similar global convergence of people and technology to electrify any of the hundreds of thousands of rural villages around the world like Conchuqua. But for now, we'd focus just on this one. Some places are so rural that there aren't villages. In the Maasai territories of Kenya, a solar microgrid is too expensive. Smaller off-grid solutions are required. Here, I met with Isaiah, a member of the Maasai tribe who's also a traveling salesman.
And they are listening to the copper radio.
Okay.
And they are saying it is very good because it is portable.
Yeah.
And it has a very clear sound.
That's perfect, and they get good reception here.
Yes, and they get the news of what is happening all over the world.
Isaiah, you were raised in this community.
Yes.
You went to school here.
Yes.
Did you have any electricity in school or home?
Not at all.
No.
We didn't have any.
So this is really changing lives.
This one is automatically changing our life, and it is putting us to another standard.
That's fantastic.
Utility companies face so many other challenges in developing countries that stringing power lines to scattered homes becomes a low priority. But this makes it an opportunity for businesses selling solar home systems.
This is not.
Oh.
This is the TV.
TV.
Yeah, okay.
And then I can see the battery.
Yeah, the battery is over there.
Right. Toward me?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
we can just
push
pull
it.
it a little bit this way.
That
Tell
one
me
is
when.
okay.
Is that good?
Yeah, that one is good.
Okay.
The TV is so big. The TV comes here.
Ah, the power. It's very quick. Very easy.
Hello. 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 So I can activate it now. Okay.
Kenya is sometimes called the Silicon Valley of distributed renewable energy solutions. In Nairobi, I met with Pauline Gathugu, M-Copa's Director of Marketing.
This is big.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
How many people are in here?
We have about 200 staff who are within the call center.
200.
Yeah, and the basic activity here is to support our customers. So once they make the decision to buy the product, we have to switch it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Young people.
Yes,
Lot of
say,
buzz.
yes, I'd say our average age here is probably 28 or
Really?
maybe even younger within the call center. The payment for this is done by mobile money.
So that comes through a
So
mobile
that comes-
network.
Yes, that comes through a mobile network. So this device has a SIM card. So it operates like a mobile phone.
So this is it. If
Yeah.
you don't have the ability to use your phone and pay,
Yes.
you don't do this.
No, you can't do this.
This is the
You
heart
can't
of your
do this.
business.
Yeah.
Is this something that Kenya,
Mm-hmm.
M-Copa, and others can share and export to the world as one of the key things?
Absolutely. I think this is something that we've proved can
Yeah.
really work, but it is very predicated on the existence of a good mobile network.
In Kenya and many other countries, tech startups like this one are allowing rural families to buy their own off-grid electricity, which can help them get something even more important. On the outskirts of Nairobi, I met with farmer John Kadenda.
And then I have the tomatoes, which requires a lot of attention.
Would all of this grow with natural rainfall, or do you have to use more water?
Nothing. You get nothing.
Really? It wouldn't grow at all?
You know, the next rain we expect here in March.
It's January now.
We're in January. Yeah. So if I leave this in the next 2 weeks is over. It's done. It's
So you have to irrigate.
I have to irrigate.
How does the water get from your system to the plants?
I could get a solar system that has a pump that is solar powered.
Right.
And this being sub-Saharan Africa, that to me was key, where I can just use the solar energy.
2 panels.
2 panels.
What does a system like this cost?
You give them a deposit of $100. They supply you the equipment. So what you're supposed to do after that is you pay $45 a month for the next 12 months, and the system is all yours. And what I get from the farm, I can comfortably pay the $45.
Okay, so your costs are covered here by what you get every month.
Comfortably.
That's fantastic. Whoa, that's deep. It looks like the top of the water is at least 10,
Should be more
12
than
feet.
50 feet deep, the whole well.
50 feet?
Yeah, 50 feet. So it's really deep.
So you've got a lot of water in here, a lot of reservoir.
water. I pump the whole day
Yeah.
I have the water all year round also.
Samir Ibrahim is the Kenyan-born, American-educated, Silicon Valley-style entrepreneur who started Sun Culture that built John's system.
Take a look at your pump.
This is the Rainmaker 2, and this plugs right into here. It's the strongest energy management system for off-grid customers in Africa.
Really?
Yeah.
So like,
to build
there's a SIM card in there?
There's a SIM card in there, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. We can talk to things in the field. So we've built an Internet of Things platform to bring precision agriculture services to farmers for the first time here in Africa. We have 60% of the world's unused farmable land.
Okay. Of the world's unused farmable land.
Of the world's unused farmable land.
Right.
We're the only continent, when we talk about water scarcity, it's not a physical water scarcity, it's an economic water scarcity. So people just can't afford to pull the water up.
Okay.
My dream is to prove this out in a way where we get dozens of companies doing this.
Yeah.
With hundreds of thousands, if not millions of acres under irrigation, with modular energy management systems so that people can plug in other appliances, and that people have the choice of what they do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're very fortunate. We can choose what we do, when we use power, when we take a shower, when we watch TV.
Right.
We want to give people that choice. We want to give people that freedom.
So what I just do now, I just place it to a location I want it to pump.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine what affordable access to water would do to change the entire continent of Africa?
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Let's sprinkle.
Let's see. There. Wow.
Whoa.
We have it.
That's spraying.
And I think what will be good is for me to get 4 sprinklers at the same time. And
now you're thinking big.
Yes.
In this and many developing regions, small electricity businesses, driven by local entrepreneurs, are using new tech to solve old problems. In many cases, they have the potential to scale faster and reach rural customers faster than power lines.
All right, Brother D. Watch trench.
Back in Ganchukwa, our team of volunteers had started the week-long process of building the solar microgrid.
All right. First panel. Gorgeous morning.
All right.
Hey. It's ready for us.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty close.
Is that good?
This is 32nd.
Yep, I think I got about the same. I think that's it.
This is perfect sun.
Yeah.
No trees. Great clearing. As long as we don't get the goats doing the tango on these things. First panel.
Yeah.
Woo! It's good.
Not grumpy bad.
You're just getting them in spots. This one looks like it's going to need loosened. We've almost got our first sub-array.
We got 35.5.
Okay, now I'm gonna just pull it all through. All right.
Go. There you go.
Oh yeah. Might have helped a lot. Make it quick. Hopefully it'll jump over.
All right.
All right. We got 3 kilowatts.
Congratulations. It's awesome.
The Arwakos wanted to help. They're farmers, and were able to knock out the trenches for the conduits in a matter of hours.
I think when we left a year and a month ago, we all had that moral conflict within us. The conflict of will this improve this community or not? The challenge I believe that they're wise enough to know about and face is here in the beautiful Sierra Nevada. Places like this are becoming encroached upon. And I think they know that they have to be part of that. And my hope is through all of you and those that we reach, we can communicate what they bring and share so that this busy, crazy world that we come from can become more like this one. And if we can be one small voice in how to find that balance, then I think we will have made a little bit of a difference.
We're moving into another phase on this work. We've got it, as we say in the trades, we're out of the ground now. So now we're going to set up the electrical system. And so I wanted to just have a brief talk. Essentially what we're doing is we're protecting the wiring from kids, animals, and that's why you see a light switch this high. That's so kids don't run in here when everybody else is busy with something else and turn everything on. They can't reach that so well.
We could put a little glue on there and then...
More?
Yes!
You got it?
Yes! Eric, yes, Paula.
It just pops on.
Oh.
So every room's going to have a light. We spoke a lot about sustainability, and the Achilles heel to all of these mini-grid systems is the battery. So the more times the light gets used, the more time the ceiling fans are running, the bigger the battery has to be.
To wire the battery, we called in the professionals from Bogota. Every battery in every off-grid village is technologically complex and dangerous if not handled correctly. It may be the Achilles heel of the mini-grid, but it's also what makes it possible.
Good work, fellas. As a battery, that's as pretty as they get. All right. It's in place.
In 10 years' time, the battery will need to be replaced. The Arhuacos wanted this refrigerator so they could sell cold drinks and popsicles to raise $10,000 to $15,000 to buy a new battery when the time comes.
A lot of electricity is about bringing the power to the load, which is the lights, and then switches are what interrupt that power. If you make a bad connection, it's just like a switch. It just breaks that continuity and then nothing happens, and then you don't know. Is it that connection? Is it that connection? Is it in the light? Is it in the electronics that feed the light? Did somebody do something wrong back there? So one error here means checking sometimes 5 or 6 places, which really sets the whole group back, especially if it's Friday night and the goat's cooking and you're trying to figure out why your circuit isn't lighting and everyone else is.
We'd need everyone's help for the last step of the install. The Arhuacos had turned a tree into this light post, and the tropical hardwood was nearly as heavy as steel.
Up, up, up. You guys got it.
I always wanted to be a priest.
Solar microgrids like this one and solar home systems may not have the power of a coal plant or a dam to run cities and businesses. But they'll bring electricity to millions of off-grid citizens, allowing their first steps into the modern world. All that was left here was for the panels to charge the battery so we could switch on the lights for the first time ever in Gunchukwu. Perhaps the biggest energy challenge in the developing world, affecting both urban and rural citizens, is how to move from wood and other biomass to fuels that produce less smoke. In Nepal, I was ready to see how they're making this transition. I'd start in a suburb of the capital city, Kathmandu, where this plant bottles liquefied petroleum gas, or LPG, the same fuel used in gas barbecue grills.
We are surrounded by canisters.
Yes, so these are LPG gas. So LPG is a propane and butane mixed gas, which mainly people use for cooking. So now, because people, once they saw this gas coming in, this is clean.
Right.
People decided to switch, mainly in the valley. Now, these gases are all over the country, wherever there are good networks.
So this operation is really growing then?
It's growing. Yeah, it's growing at the rate of 13%. So it's a huge
Every year?
Every year.
How many homes are on LPG now, you think? Just rough percentage.
In Kathmandu Valley, 94%.
Oh, it's that high?
Yeah, 94% of the homes have LPG.
Okay.
And 6% of households still use biomass.
Yeah, that's not much though.
Yeah.
So we talked about it's a better fuel. What are some of the challenges?
Oh, there are many challenges. For example, 100% comes from India. Nepal is dependent on India. And there have been some hiccups. Like there was a blockade in 2015, immediately after earthquake. And there was the supply was cut for about 5-6 months because Nepal has a different, very difficult geography. And price is increasing also. That's another challenge because it depends on the international market price also. So there are many challenges also associated with this.
Sure. Nothing's perfect.
Nothing's perfect.
Ready to take us? So it's interesting where all the different people live, things. Some of the columns, some. I mean, these look like pretty modern buildings over here.
Yeah.
Here's the facility.
In lieu of pipelines, this is Nepal's LPG distribution network. Gas comes from refineries in India on ever smaller modes of transportation to reach the people who use it.
We'll put this cylinder on a bicycle.
On a bicycle?
On the bicycle, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so one bike can carry 2 canisters.
Okay, the roads look pretty good.
Yeah.
For biking. How about I try it?
Sure, yeah.
Can I bike?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
We'll help you put the
Let's take
canister.
it to our family.
Just go straight.
Okay.
And then turn left, and I'll see you there.
This might not go very straight, but we're gonna give it a good run. Wow, where do my hills go? All right, we're out of here. Ah. Woo! Oh! Taking the bike. This is the house?
Yeah, this is the house.
This is the house?
Yeah, everybody needs energy, so. ल अब है हजुरको आयो है सिलिन्डर यसलाई
ल्याइदिनुभयो नि धन्यवाद है
अब हामी यसरी यसलाई राखौँ यसलाई फिक्स गरिदिउँ It's a blue flame.
Perfect. And no emissions, no smoke, no
smoke.
Very clean.
Yes, very clean.
Ask if she enjoys cooking with things.
तपाईलाई कस्तो सजिलो लाग्छ रमाइलो लाग्छ यसमा पकाउनलाई ग्यास पकाउन
रमाइलो छ सजिलै छ
Yeah, it's easy.
It's easy.
It's easy. It's fun. Yeah.
In urban Nepal, most households have chosen this easier, cleaner fuel, which is available because there's a system to transport it. But in rural Nepal, where the roads are few and often unpaved, LPG canisters are harder to come by. Here, families need another alternative to wood.
Mountains.
Yeah, it's beautiful in the valley. And a bunch of dried corn on the roof. So, your kitchen, and you're cooking, you're boiling something here, I can see.
बलिरहेछ
के पकाउँदै हुनुहुन्छ
चिया
Yeah.
कफी भन्ने
Making
के
teas.
चिया
What are you cooking with?
के चिया केबाट बनाइरहनु भएको छ
ग्यास
With gas.
हजुर गोबर ग्यास
So gobar gas is dung-based gas, like biogas.
Okay.
Animal dung-based biogas.
गाईको गोबर
Yeah.
Cow dung.
Cow dung. Okay. And you like it? It's
Hello.
good?
के
तपाईलाई मन पर्छ यो biogas?
मन पर्छ किन्नु परेन यहाँ आफैले बनाउन सक्यो सजिलो हरे
Yes. So you don't have to buy cylinder. It's free.
Right.
You build it.
Oh, yeah.
आफ्नै गाई दुध खायो
So you have one cow. They can drink milk and then use dung.
So they drink the milk, they use the dung, and you cook again.
Yeah.
It's a perfect circle. So we're going to get biomass and
Yes.
look at biogas. And
So we will use dung.
we'll use dung.
Yeah, this is a cow dung.
What's she gonna do?
So she will put this dung in the bucket.
She will?
Yeah.
I guess I probably ought to help, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, nice. That's nice. Oh, yeah. Biogas.
Biogas.
Nice. Okay. That's just a fresh one.
Yes. So she'll put water. Do you want to wash your hands?
Oh, yeah, I'll wash my
so
hands. Sure.
We'll solve two purposes.
Yeah, there you go. Efficiency.
Efficiency, yeah.
In every step. There you go.
So,
you
first,
got to mix it
mix
first.
it. It has to be thoroughly mixed.
I'm glad I already washed my hands.
Yeah. It has to be thoroughly mixed and then
Okay. Now I take this here. Okay. Now I pour it. In it. All right. Oh, yeah, that's nice. That's not very deep. Oh.
So toilet is also connected.
Yeah, this is the...
Human waste also goes there.
Nobody's there, luckily. Just open the door on them. So I'm we've got a concrete canister and a bunch of stuff in it. And then there's gas up in the kitchen.
Yes.
What's the process?
So this is a inlet. You put mix of dung and then water. You stir it, and then methanogenic bacteria then works on the manure slurry, and then it generates biogas. And then people get biogas through that pipe, that yellow pipe you'll see.
Off-take pipe event.
And it goes to that house. So this is a 6 cubic meter biogas system.
Okay.
But people are building like 20 cubic meter.
Okay. Well, let's go see one of the bigger ones.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. So, where do you put in the dung and the water? And
so it will be there.
Oh, wow.
So they'll put the inlet.
That's a big room.
It's a big room, yeah.
There's a concrete dome over the big chamber.
Yeah.
And how much biogas will this make?
So it provides you gas enough for 8 hours.
Yes.
To cook food for 6 family members.
Wow. So, wonderful system. Where can it be put around the world?
Yeah, it can go a lot of places. For example, if it works in Nepal,
sure.
There's lots of opportunity to upscale this in South Asia and Africa.
South America?
South America.
Sure.
So if it's possible in Nepal, then it's possible everywhere.
Right.
Both these gas solutions, LPG and biogas, produce a tiny fraction of the particulates of burning wood. And everywhere that particulate pollution has declined, respiratory disease has plummeted along with it. LPG use is growing rapidly, especially in urban areas across Asia and Africa, where there are refineries to produce the gas and road systems to transport it. There are 500,000 biogas systems in Nepal alone. These could be well suited to rural areas around the world, wherever there's livestock to make the manure that fuels them and temperate climates to keep them from freezing or drying out. These modern cooking fuels, combined with access to affordable on-grid and off-grid electricity, will help literally billions of people live better, healthier lives. For my last stop in Nepal, Amod wanted to show me the newest alternative to wood. As grid electricity from hydropower becomes more available and reliable, a market for electric cooktops is springing up.
So Scott, this is the store that I was referring to.
Oh.
One of the entrepreneurs.
Sure.
Was selling induction stove.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
So you want to cook rice, then you press this rice button. So you want to boil water, then you press water button.
Right.
Yeah, for fry, and you can press this. So he's saying that it's easy.
Yeah. So how many of these have you sold in your store?
Yeah, so overall 60 induction stoves have been sold, but she has sold 10.
10 from here.
10 from
and
here.
And how much time did that take?
Yeah, within 1 month.
Wow, that's amazing. That's really. Are you seeing that bigger trend in the valley as well?
Yeah, yes. So
yeah.
Other, people are buying it.
Yeah.
From other markets also, other stores also.
Right. How much would this cost?
5,500 Nepali rupees.
5,500 rupees. So that's about $55. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But you're selling still that many. You know what? Sold. I'll take it. I'll take it today. That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sara Kanchi?
हजुर
आउनुहोस् न नमस्ते है
I found your son out there.
तपाईको छोरा बाहिर बाटोमा छ नि मेरो
We have something to give you.
तपाईलाई हामीले केही कुरा ल्याएको
It's,
घरमा
electric cooking.
यो चाहिँ नि त्यो इलेक्ट्रिक हो
Have you seen that before?
तपाईले चुलो देख्नु भएको छ
No. Should we open it?
ए हामी एकचोटि खोलौँ भित्र गएर
Yeah. It's for your pot to sit. This goes here. Okay. Now, we plug it in to electricity, which Ahmad will help you get to your house. And it costs less money than what...
मलाई त आइहाल्न अब मैले पढेको छैन अनि छोरीले पढेको छ छोरीले सबै सिके अस्ति दिदीले सेमसुगा दिदीले पनि दिनुभएको थियो अनि फेरि त्यो अन्डर यहाँ अर्कै आउँछ अरे भन्नुभएको थियो
Very good. And there'll be no smoke.
धुवा चाहिँ नि हुँदैन
धुवा हुँदैन जस राम्रो हुन्छ
So,
त्यही भएर
yeah, there will be no smoke. So Nago?
लाग्यो नि अब चिया पानी लिनु न
Says is asking if you'd like to have tea.
Absolutely. Let's have tea.
In Gunchukwa, it's Friday night, and the goat is cooking. And there was just one thing left to do. We gathered everyone in the village square to turn the lights on together.
It's a very exciting time.
Es un momento muy emocionante.
A year ago, we came as strangers to Gunchukwa. Today, we are here as friends. And now, we're going to count backwards from 5. We will say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, light together. We will do it very loudly. Are you ready?
En español.
In Español and English?
Yes. Okay.
Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lights! On the count of 3, a big dooney. 1, 2, 3, dooney!
Vale, gracias. Bueno.
Energy powers the people to power themselves. Find out how you can help end energy poverty at switchon.org.